this Max Scherzer story. He actually spoke to the press over the week and said that the pitch clock has affected him as the start of the season is a little slow for him because of the time clock. I will tell you this. It's getting slow because he's old. I'm just speaking the truth, guys. Max Scherzer has been a shell of himself since he was traded to the Dodgers. He has not been the same player from his dominance in Washington. All those years in Washington and the way he pitched, this isn't the same Max Scherzer. He's a good pitcher. He could still pitch. He's still a quality pitcher, but he's not an elite pitcher. He's not a top 5 pitcher. I loved, before the season started, when I saw MLB Network rate the top 10 pitchers in the major leagues, and they put Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer in the top 4, I thought they were out of their minds. Maybe 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, they're not the same pitchers they once were. And yes, I know Justin Verlander just won a Cy Young with the Astros. The Astros still had a rotation of youth, talented young pitchers, and Justin Verlander. And when you're an older pitcher and you're playing with a bunch of phenoms in that rotation, there are more teams worried about them than they are of you. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve his Cy Young last year. I'm not saying that Justin Verlander is still not a great pitcher. He's a fantastic pitcher. But is he the same pitcher that everybody remembers in Detroit? Is he the same pitcher that everybody remembers when he was traded to the Astros? The answer is no.
And again, he might have to change something mechanically, too, to be able to try to adjust to the pitch clock. I'm not saying to try to change his whole style of pitching, because I don't think he's lost anything when it comes to velocity or his spin rate on his breaking balls, his curveball that is still very good for a while, but it definitely could take a toll for a pitcher that for 15 years in the league was used to pitching one style, and now at 39 years old, trying to adjust to this pitch clock that's definitely a lot faster, even faster with runners on base, too, is definitely a thing. Now, most of Max Scherzer's problems this year have come with allowing a lot of home runs. It's not as much as allowing base runners and trying to churn in these tough innings.
I think he's just trying to find an excuse. It has nothing to do with the pitch clock. And for anybody to come out and say, well, I'm not used to the pitch clock. Well, guess what? You're a professional baseball player. You're making a lot of money. Because you're not holding the ball for an extra 3 or 4 seconds, it's not giving you enough time to figure out how to throw a baseball. You've been throwing that baseball for 25 years. Why does it change because you're taking away a couple of seconds on the time you have to release the ball out of your hand?
Somebody like Scherzer, too, who's adjusted to so many things in his career, like you said, so many different teams, so many different situations. He should be able to do that, but it goes back to what we were saying last week about the approach that the Mets took in the offseason, where they tried to bring in too many veteran pitchers, and Justin Verlander already hurt right now, Jose Quintana already hurt right now, too, and they've had to rely on a lot of these young guys to do well at the beginning of the season. Now, the Mets bullpen has actually strived very well. A lot of these veteran guys like Ottavino and Robertson have adjusted well to the pitch clock, so it seems strange that these starters can't be able to do the same kind of thing so far, especially somebody like Scherzer. He should be able to adjust to that kind of thing, and it just worries me with the approach the Mets have with the pitching depth as a whole, that they could last it throughout the season, because their hitting, it's not great, but it's been pretty good, and their bullpen has actually been surprisingly good to start the season, so if they can get any level of the starters, they need it to get anything in contention.
If you're a Yankee fan, you should be happy. What you're not expecting is the Tampa Bay Rays, and that says a lot about this team. They don't have superstars on this team. They don't have an Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton or Garrett Cole on this team. They have a bunch of young players and a bunch of role players and a team that believes in what they can do in a division that's one of the hardest divisions, if not the hardest division in professional sports. When you have the Rays, the Yankees, Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston. And Baltimore is only getting better. They're young and they're talented. And with that farm system and the growth of that farm system, they're only going to get better. And I don't believe the Boston Red Sox are as bad as their record shows right now. I think they'll figure things out. And I believe that this team is still amongst the best teams in the American League.
Yeah, it's weird. The Red Sox have actually gotten good pitching to start the season, and their offense has been the main problem for them. Same kind of thing with the Orioles. Like, their offense has been good at certain points, but it's more their pitching, which has been more of a surprise. As far as the Yankees, yeah, the Yankees have actually gotten a good, well-rounded variety of everything so far. Good random production from somebody like Franchi Cordero, a former Red Sox. Gleyber Torres, like you were mentioning last week, playing very well to start this season as well. Aaron Judge, 4 home runs already. But the pitching, again, is something that they've gotten in different spurts as well, with somebody like Johnny Brito pitching as well as he has, and he's going to need to be pitching in a bigger role because the Yankees have all those injuries with the pitching staff, but all these newer guys coming through, guys like Ian Hamilton pitching well out of the bullpen. Marinaccio's pitched very well out of this bullpen. Albert Breu so far has pitched well out of the bullpen. So they're getting these new guys to come forward when they have a lot of these injuries so far, and it's good to see Michael King have a good week turning around after a rough start to the season. So
he'll be fine. He's coming off an elbow injury. He missed the whole second half of the season. Michael King will be okay. He will be the future closer for this New York Yankee team. This is a team that will compete. This is a team that's still not 100% healthy.